I started this back in 2012. It was kind of the package I would sub out to. And so we really we were awful. We were terrible. We were a terrible football team. And so I started subbing out my nickel personnel and taking a defensive end out and playing a little bit of three high on certain downs. And it made us a really good football team. And we ended up winning the last couple of games because our defense played really well. And so, 14, 13, I was an offensive coordinator, so I didn't call any defense. And then 14, I went back to calling defense at Division II school, and we were exceptional at it. Our guys were really good at it. We knew and understood the fits, and so I think that the most important thing one of the most important things that I get asked all the time by other coaches is, well, how do you make your fits? And so we're going to go through all of our run fits and kind of discuss them with our different calls. So basically we're a five shade team. I play a shade to the nose, to the side of the back. This is base defense. Of course, we can put him away. We can put him to, but base defense. This is first day, what we're talking about, and so, I make sure that our linebackers know who is the slow, who is the go, and so, we make different calls for our middle safety. He'll be on a Mabel call, and basically he's that nickel, but coming from the middle safety position. He's the extra hat in the run game. He knows that he has run first, pass second. Okay. So I don't have a nickel sitting out there to where you can just pick our ass apart. You don't know who it's going to be. Any one of these five guys can do it at any time with the call. All right. So everybody in our secondary knows how to execute our fundamentals. We have different fundamental calls, and everybody in our secondary understands those fundamental calls. And so, 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 21, 22, the more you bring into the formation, the less calls that we have to make. They already know that they're involved in the fit. The more spread out that we see, then we have to start designing who's in the fit and who's not. And so that just keeps you safe on RPOs, so that they're reading the wrong guy. And that's what I want to do. I want to constantly change the conflict defender. Despite what Twitter says, there's always a conflict defender on defense. I don't care what anybody says. All I'm trying to do is change it up on you. I know who's in conflict and you don't. The guy who's calling the plays will not know because of our alignment. Now, this is a four-man front, so a lot of the film that you're going to see today is four-man front. I don't get out of four-man front. I stay in four-man front. I've happened to coach some really good defensive ends. I have one that's really, really good right now. He's a dude, and so I flex him left and right. So this is our 50, which is we're crush technique up front. We're a 5 technique crush. You have to use some sort of crush technique. You have to take inside gaps away and force the ball wide. You can't sit in 5s and expect to play against heavy dominant run teams. And I've run this in Texas against slot T, triple option, pro sets, West Coast offense, and it never fails. It's a good system, and so this is where we start. I always want to make sure that our kids understand what they're doing in the fits. We do sling our fits. We do based off of where that Mabel is going. We have a marble call where he can go to the right, and we can sling the fits to the left. You're always going to know who the go is and who's the slow, and who's the C gap, and who's got the A, and who's got the quarterback, and so on and so on. So a lot of you guys understand what I'm talking about when I say that. On this back side of trips, we have several different technique calls that we can use. Okay, we can cone it. There's several things that we can do just based off of who that guy is over there. Usually over here that's your dude, right? And so I want to make sure that we have several different calls that we can make over here to the single. But my favorite one is bringing this corner. It's my favorite one because you offensive guys never block corners ever. So I love it. I love bringing him. You don't know that he's in the fit. You don't have any idea that he's the one that's the conflict defender or, so I bring him quite a bit and I've made a lot of money off of that. But you can kind of tell this is our base defense. So moving that middle safety is base for us. You know, Mabel is that way, and he's just made like your old Mabel call if you were in too high, right? That safety spinning down, he's playing run first. You know, he's a conflict defender. We all know it. But I'm moving him from the middle down. And we have several calls where we're bringing him in here as well. And I'll go through those as well. He gets 4 calls in there to where he knows that he's fit in the run. He is not past his secondary, run his first. And so, you know, this is another one that we call. We'll get a Louis call. We have a Louis and a Ricky call. We can cloud this side over here, put that corner into the trigger, and you know, he'll be a secondary support guy over there. But we've got a C-gap defender. We're slinging the fits away from the Louis call. So that safety's coming down, and he's reading the in man on the line of scrimmage, whoever it is. And so if we're getting out blocks like this, then he's going to stay outside. If we're getting down base blocks, cutoff blocks, so on and so on. If we're getting darts, those are all reads and reactions that we have part of our rotor drill. So rotor is read on the run. And so those guys are coming down at the snap of the ball. They're not post snap. I mean, they are post snap. We do some pre snap taxi stuff, but you know, most of the time we're scroll. So scroll is post snap for us. Taxi is pre snap. And so we will, most of the time it's post snap. I don't want you to know who's fitting where and how they're fitting, you know, based off of our fits. I want to keep changing them up. The good part about it is that we want to close down all these gaps in here. Our power step is we're playing a 5 alignment, and our power step right here on this right hand end right here would be with his left hand, and he's power stepping and trying to knock back that tackle. All the meanwhile, he's looking at this guard to see what he's doing. If that guard is doubling, then he's going to go B gap now. The key to crush technique is timing. When to go in the B gap? Do I go now? When do I go? So timing is critical of taking ownership of that B gap and understanding when to go and when not to go. You can't be too early and you can't be too late. It's got to be perfect. And our guys have gotten really good at being able to time that out. Arm over. I want an arm over technique on our transition step. So we have a power step and a transition step. Our power step is coming into the tackle. We want to knock him back. We want to see what the guard is doing and then react based off of what the guard is doing. So if we're getting a double down right here, we want to get into this in real good. And then we want to arm over and B gap when that guard goes down to block. So most of the time I'm getting out, which is what I want. I want out so that double A gap blitz is a bastard for you, right? I got to make you block out. And so what I'm trying to do is make you block out. I want that guard to take over. I want that tackle to get knocked back. So the C gap is free. Mike knows that he's nested and he's fitting C gap right now. And so this H back that's coming, we're going to get inside of that H back and take the C gap away no matter what. This is just split zone, but it's our rule no matter what anyway. I don't care what we're running. It could be counter, it could be power, it could be any of those calls. And he's still going to fit there, as you're going to see in the film in a second. I'm going to go through these real quick so I can get to the film and you guys watch film. So we have also what we call a bet stunt. So that flex backer, which is our defensive end, he sits right off the edge of that 5 technique. Okay. And so all we're doing on a bet stunt is we're just switching responsibilities, right? He's C gap all the way, right? He's C gap. I want to play off so I don't get killed on the down block, right? If you've ever taught a 6 technique, you know what I'm talking about. Any of you guys ever get a defensive line coach that can truly coach a 6 technique, keep him, because it's hard. It's hard to teach it. And so, you know, we're just playing a 6 technique there with that guy. He's flexed off and he's reading the hat of that tackle, of that attachment, of that inline tight end. And so we want to close off that C gap, and we want to spill all these gaps and cancel all these gaps and make the ball go wider to where now we've got all of our guys coming to the fit, and make sure that we're getting 3 to 4 extra run defenders to the football. And that's the only way you can stop the run, in my opinion. So then, you know, these are some of the other things. This is our hot coverage. So whenever people get into 21, 12, I go strictly to hot coverage, and it's basically the same thing. We're not trying to execute anything different. I want our curriculum and our game plan to be in line. Everything that we do matters. I don't want to do something that's way over here left or way over here right. I want everything to be detailed oriented. When we go out and we work on fundamentals, these are our fundamentals. So by having these calls, these fundamental calls like this, I can continue to work on, we're working on 8 different coverages, you know, anywhere from 8 to 10 different coverages by executing these certain calls that we have for our secondary. Okay. So this is a real inexpensive blitz for us. I'm not sitting out there reinventing the wheel trying to make up stuff. I'm doing things that our guys already know how to do. And that's why we're successful at it, because they already know how to execute these fundamentals. They already know how to do these, reads or man match stuff. When we get into hot coverage, the only thing that I have to teach them is your eyes need to stay at the cue and then never go to receivers. And so that's the only thing that I have to teach them. The fits and everything else stays the same. It all stays in line. Every one of our blitzes, you can see here, this is a blitz by Mike, right? NCAA blitz. We don't have a long stick there. We have a bingo of a B gap, right? But this is his normal fit anyway. This is normal C gap fit anyway. He's going to already know that he's got C gap fit. He's going to know how to play it. And so these are our hot coverages. When I get 21, 22, 12 personnel, you can guarantee that 6, 7, 8 are coming, and I'm going to make you throw the ball quick. Okay, our corners are sitting and waiting. In this situation, it's our free safety. He's sitting and waiting. We're taking all quicks away because that's the one thing that can hurt us in this is completing, you know, your now screens, your fast screens, your slow screens, your tunnel screens. So we want to take those away and make you hold the ball and try to throw something deep. So you can see here, we're basically in our crush technique here. We're already predetermined on our fits. So, you know, our guys are ready to play fast, and I want them to play fast. So this is a Mabel fit. You can see the left safety is working to the left, and he's that nickel. And you can see him, he's reading on the run. He sees the end man on the line of scrimmage. He's reading pass. He sees the quarterback is pass. He J's out. And now we've got our corner. All of our guys are there to take away this screen. And this is the way that we want to fit any type of screen. We want one coming from inside out, one coming from outside in, and try to sandwich that thing down in there. Is the film choppy or is it good tonight? I know sometimes this film is choppy, so if it's choppy,
no, it looks, it's decent, better than most nights anyway.
So you can see here, we're crushing here again. You can see our defensive linemen, they're going to come off power step and then transition step. We're going to close off inside gaps. You can see our linebackers. I'll go to end zone so you can see our fits. We already know where the fits are based off of the call. We know that he's nested, right? He's the nester. We know that he's going to take this B gap. And so we have a Louis call on this one. So he's actually fitting that A gap in there, right? He's going to fit the C gap in there, but you're going to see that he's playing slow because he knows he's protected, right? He knows he's protected. He's got C, he's got B, he's got A. A gap is only one. So if we're fitting this with a Louis call, that linebacker's got that A gap, this linebacker's got that C gap, and he's taking B gap if it's run. Now, if it's pass, I expect them to get, you know, outside leverage and go ahead and rush the passer with 4. But if it's run, that's what we're doing. And you can see here we get a pig. So he knows he's reading that pig because he's in a look technique, and he's also nested, so he's protected. So you can see our middle safety reacting to the run pretty quick, and our left safety is taking the outside. He's taking the inside path, and we get a good play, good tackle for loss right there. So we're constantly changing up these fits and making sure that our guys are understanding where they're fitting and when they're fitting and what gap that they're fitting. So you can see here, this is back in 2015. We're bringing this safety down. We've got a Louis called right here at the beginning, and then we're going to get motion right. And we've got 4 strong over here, so we change it to a Ricky call, and you'll see your safeties rolling over and making this play, you know, on this jet sweep. And, you know, of course, he knows that he's got C gap. He knows we're going to make him block, right? So we're coming down and replacing. I'd like this safety to get back over the top to where he can see that number 2 block down. And then now he needs to fit in right behind it this corner should be off on the fox. So if we do get something that we fake down and get vertical, or they fake and they go vertical and we get something, I've got to have a fox defender there to take care of the fox and any type of fake where they're going to fake it and throw the ball deep. So you can see, I'll move on here to, right here, we're in the same exact call. We've got, this is a more of a quarterback run system where they brought the quarterback in, but you can see our fits of the C gap. Everything is protected inside. We want to make sure we're crushing everything down. Our guys are doing a great job of crushing everything down, taking inside gaps away, and then letting my athletes run. Okay. The other thing that it does, right, is it protects us in the RPO game by telling them, you've got that gap, you've got that gap, you've got that gap. It protects us and it doesn't necessarily put us in a conflict, because he can still get depth. If he's fitting there now in the C gap now, based off of a call, if he's fitting the C gap now and we're playing him under, or we're bet stunting and he's that fourth guy, basically he can play everything a little bit slower and protect in the RPO game. Okay, it helps you out. And you can see there, C gap defender. Here comes the Louis call. Here comes our safety coming in there to make the play with our backer, with our C gap backer. So now, and this one, this is a 3-man front. Okay, I subbed out and I took a defensive end out. Now we do it with our linebackers, because whether he was stacked here or down here, he already knows that he has the C gap, right? So I'm not teaching him anything new. I'm keeping everything the same. And so you're going to see us here. We're going to get motion, and they're going to motion to H, and we're just going to treat that as our flex. So the linebacker is taking the flex on this side. He's taking it. He'll come back to stack, and now we're rearranging our fits based off a call in the secondary. So right there, there's a marble. So, this safety is going to the right, and we're slinging our fits to the left because we think the ball is going that way. And so now if that quarterback does to pull the ball, then he'll be the quarterback player. He's man on 2, he's man on 1. That'll take care of the RPO game off of it. So as soon as that ball is seated, we are man to man in our man match. And this is what I was talking about earlier. I got a dude. This guy right here is a dude. 6'4", 245, runs 4.6, can freaking play ball. All right, so getting to some of our other fits. They're trying to read us here, kind of like a veer or midline type play where they're trying to read us and keep the quarterback up inside. And it doesn't matter to us. We're still going to fit the same way. We see that that guard block down. He knows he's not involved in the fit because we've got a Ricky call. So this safety is down on the Ricky call, and he's just relating to 1 here because there's his 2 going away. And so he's just relating to 1 in case we get an RPO this way. If that ball was to be handed off this way, then he would go ahead and take that fit. Now they're both playing to the left because of the Ricky call. So we already know where we're fitting. He sees that it's fast flow by the direction of the offensive lineman. I'd like him to step down in here first and then redirect to it. He see gap, and then you're going to see the secondary guys come off of it after the ball is already handed off. So stopping the run is critical on first down, first and second down. We spend a lot of our time making sure that we're block recognition and that we're taking on blocks the right way. This particular play, I wish that defensive end would have went and charged the mesh like I want him to and smoked that dude, right? I mean, I'm kind of pissed off that he didn't because I want them to know that we're going to attack it. Now on third down, we're going to go to some of our hot coverages, especially if you start inserting. If you start getting into 22 or 12 or you start bringing those safeties into the box, then we're going to get into our hot coverage. We call it fire and flame, and we're going to really hone in on some of the run blitzes that we want to run against you. So, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, against three high safeties that you're weak whenever you insert. We're pretty strong against it because the more people you're bringing into the formation, the more guys and more safeties I'm bringing, and that middle safety never gets blocked. I don't care what offensive coordinator I talk to. You show me in a game plan where you actually like game plan to go block that middle safety, I'll give you $1 million. I promise you didn't. So us changing the fits of whether he's an A gap fitter, B gap fitter, or C gap fitter is constant against that, because they're inserting into the formation, so that alleviates and annihilates all vertical presence, right? If you're tight end wing, how many verticals are you going to get off of a tight end wing? And let's be real, if you are a tight end wing 22 personnel team, how much do you really want to throw the football? Probably not a lot. You know, it's probably going to be some play fake and try to throw the ball deep. So I want to hot coverage it, make sure we get our snipers back there to take off anybody that's trying to get vertical on us. But you're going to maybe get 2 verticals out of that set. And so keeping that back end to block is critical for me. I don't want that back out. So what a lot of people do is they'll rush 3 and drop 8. And what happens is that back gets involved into the passing game. And he's a bitch to handle in the passing game. 4 strong is a son of a gun to defend. Okay, so if you're running wide shallow with 4 strong with the back in a flat, whoo, good God Almighty, that's tough. You better have some really, really good corners, and you'll get exposed real fast. And so I want to make sure I bring enough pressure to keep that back in there, right? If you're going to get into 12 personnel, if you're going to get into 20, 11, or 12, or some of those types of heavier sets, I'm going to make sure that you keep those guys in there to block. I want to make sure of it, because that will be terrible if we get into 12 and we let them, you know, run mesh or run, you know, some really good tough concepts, play action concepts that are tough to stop out of 12 personnel. So this is just our hot coverage, which we call fire and flame. We have a couple different ways to run it. Fire and flame is where we're basically rolling our safeties down, and they're playing the seam players. They're inside of 2 by about 3 yards. And so we're looking at quarterback action first. Is it seated? Is it quick? Is it rhythm? Is it deep? And so we're looking at his face mask. What direction is the quarterback looking? So if that quarterback is looking that direction, we're taking the hots on that side first. And, you know, we want to make sure that we take the hots away first. Anything quick, hot, screens, slants, glance, anything quick, hitches, we want to take all that stuff away to make him double hitch on the ball, and then get our 6, maybe even 7, depending on what personnel grouping the offense is in. If they're in 12, we can bring, and you only got 2 guys out there, you know, then we can green a couple of blitzers where I tell them, if your guy blocks, you plus it, right? And so we can end up bringing 8. If you're only going out with 2 guys in a pass route. And so we work on this quite a bit, because I like to blitz and I don't like to play man. And so we work on this a lot. And I think you're a piss poor coach if you're in man all the time. And if you say RPOs are no good against man, you're crazy. RPOs are great against man. And so I don't think that that's the answer to it. I think that you've got to have a guy doubled under and over the top in the RPO game, and hot coverage allows us to do that. So basically, these are our corner rules. We're looking at the same thing. We're looking at the quarterback. If the ball is seated, then we're going to fall off and trigger the run. I expect all 11 guys to trigger the run if the ball is seated. If it's a quick, then we're taking the inside away right now from our number 1 if we're at corner. If the quarterback is looking at me, then I'm driving his toes now. I want him to double move and go by me. I want him to throw a fade route, 50-50 ball, and I can live with that. If the quarterback is not looking at me, then what the other side of the corner is, he's in a 12 to 15 yard divider rule. So he's playing a half field safety. Okay. So if his face mask is not looking at me, then I don't care what that receiver runs. I'm going to fishtail out and get to the middle of the field and sit there at about 12 to 15. Okay. Because I think if we are at 12 to 15, if any route is run beyond that, you're probably going to be sacked. So we spent a lot of time on this mesh read. We're reading the mesh. We're seeing, is it full fast? What kind of flow is it? Quarterback hand off the ball and us triggering the run are important, critical details. And I have explicit rules that we have. If eyes are at me, what to do. If eyes are away from me, what do we do? And so you can see here on a film, we're gotten pretty good at it. I wasn't too good at it at the beginning whenever I got here at Brian Rudder, but now we've gotten to where we get pretty good. This is my Somerset crew. This is, like I said, back in 15. And so here's just a double edge, real simple, hot coverage. I expect all 11 guys to get to the football, and I'm pissed off because we got 9. I want them 2 corners. I want you filling in there. I want you filling in there. I want you filling in there. We should have everybody in there when it's hot coverage. We can't miss a tackle. Got to get more people to the ball, and that's a key of defense and tackling is getting 3 guys to the football. And so, we were pretty good at hot coverage, and I stuck with it. We were not good at man, so I stuck with it. But you can see here, there's our seam player. There's our deep player. He's a seam player. He's baiting in there like he's going to come on a blitz, and he's really out. This is our deep player. He's the seam player, and he's our other deep player. So those are our 5 guys in coverage. And we're bringing a double A gap blitz right here. Like I said, I want to make you block out and get home and let you run these deeper routes. You can see those guys are all taking off, running vertical pushes on it. And that's not a good call against what we're doing. And so, it's 3rd and short. You can see here it's 3rd and I guess 4. And we get a big time sack. And of course, we don't give up any yardage. We don't want to give up any yardage to there because that's 3 points. And so I want to bring some pressure right here. This is the wrong one. We did bring the corner on this one. And so, this is one of our corner blitzes where we run it just like the path of the mic a while ago. So he's running that inside path and trying to attack that bob protection. So if we have those guys that are going to plus and block, we will add to the blitz. Go through a couple more here. We get the formation that we want. We're going to get motion here on this. So this corner is going to check to what we call a collar blitz. That is our left corner is coming on a blitz. So you're going to see our whole defense change. We had 1 blitz called, and because of the motion, we checked to another blitz. So our guys got pretty good at it last year, and I got all these guys back again. So we're going to have a pretty good football team this coming up year. But as soon as we take the hot and the quicks away, like this flat route, I want to cut its toes and take it away if I'm the seam player. And that's exactly what that linebacker is doing. That's the throw that's going to hurt you. The other throws are too deep. They're not going to hurt us. That throw right there is the one I want to cut now because I want to make him hold the ball to where now our pressure is going to get to him. Nobody blocks the corner, and of course they didn't block him. And we run this a lot. This is something that we blitz the corner quite a bit. It's an auto check for a blitz. So, but anyway, that's real quick of what it is. I hope I didn't go too fast. I just wanted to make sure that we understand the run fits and about 3 safeties and how we sling them and how we work them. How we take our middle safety and get him involved. And how we do it is, I think, pretty unique. We change him up. We make sure that middle safety can go from the middle, taking a middle gap to an outside gap. We have certain calls for him. We want to make sure that we keep changing them up to where you offensive guys then know what we're doing. It's awfully difficult nowadays to coach defense. And so all the rules favor the offense, and every one of them. I mean, like you saw in there, was linemen downfield and they're throwing the ball downfield and didn't get called. And so, the most over abused call is pass interference. It's abused, and it's what it is. We're not going to complain about it. We're going to get better and coach our kids better. And I used to say we're going to hold people to 10 points, and then I went to 14 points, and then I said, well, 21, and I'm kind of stuck at 21 right now. If you're giving up 21 points a game, you're doing a hell of a job, and it's awfully difficult. Sometimes some nights I get very frustrated that the right guard goes out for a over the ball hook, a hank route, and they're throwing the ball down the field, and the center and my middle safety will be like, well, I thought that was a number 3 coming out, and it's the right guard, and it'll never get called. And you guys, I mean, kudos to you offensive guys. Y'all keep doing it. So, I mean, hell, it's not going to get called. So let's just keep doing it. Right. But, so we've got a tough job on defense. And I think that some of these things are really good for you. Even if you're not a 3-high team and you want to sling your fits and change them up and run some Mabel calls. I used to do that a lot when I was in a 4-2 and sling our fits that way. But, power game, we have our pig fits and so everything stays in line. All of our blitz paths, everything that we do stays in line with what we already do. I don't want to veer off of that line any. I want to make sure that our kids understand what they're doing and how they're doing it. I want them to make sure that they're free of thought, that they're playing fast, that they're lining up and they're executing easy things that they can do. But I want to look multiple as hell. I want to confuse people on film. I want to line up in different spacings. I want to get in bare. I want to get over. I want to get under. I want to get in the 50. I want to get in the 40. And I want to continue to change up the fronts, change up the blocking scheme to where maybe we have an advantage on defense, because we don't have many advantages on defense. So anybody have any questions? Let me know. I see what is the alignment of the B. He's right off of the 5 techniques butt. So he's about 1.5 yards off, right behind the heels. If it was the left 5 technique, it would be the left heel. If it's the right 5 technique, it'll be his right heel. He's right off of it. And like I said, I can't coach a 6 technique. And so I backed him up and said, all right, you're not going to get a down block on me, right? Because what's the first thing a 6 technique is going to get, right? Pin, pull, sweep, right? Easy ass down block by the tight end who never goes to inside, right? If you're a throwing coach, that tight end never goes to inside. He's always on routes on air, or, he's always, catching the ball in 7-on-7. If you're a running coach, he's always down blocking, and it's the easiest block for him. So I backed him up and flexed him, that B, and I played him off, and I played the C gap with him. Now he has a 2-way go on it. Makes it more simple to coach. It's something that we already do, and makes it a little bit easier than coaching a 6 technique.